Australia will be supplying Ukraine with dozens more of bushmaster vehicles to help the fight against the Russian invasion. Sheina Selim reports.
The Albanese government will be sending 30 more highly coveted bushmaster armored personnel carriers to Ukraine in support of the nation's defense against Russia's illegal invasion. Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese announced he was pleased to gift 30 additional bushmasters to Ukraine following his meeting with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky at the NATO summit in Lithuania. Albanese said bushmasters are highly valued by Ukrainian defense personnel and have saved their lives. The military vehicles are built in Bendigo and have been used in Ukraine to move troops in and out of frontline areas and have also been deployed as ambulances and command, patrol, and support vehicles. The Prime Minister said this latest donation was worth about $100 million and would mean Australia was now committed to providing 120 of the troop carriers after Australia's previous donation of 90 bushmasters to Ukraine. Australia has provided more than $710 million in military aid, with overall support reaching a total of $890 million. Defense Minister and Deputy Prime Minister Richard Marles said the latest announcements showed Australia's firm stance in supporting Ukraine in the face of a Russian invasion. Reporting from New South Wales, this is Sheina Selim, SMNI News, Australia.
The newly signed police cooperation deal between China and Solomon Islands triggered a new wave of concerns from Australia and the United States. The details from Sasha Hassa.
Canberra asked for transparency about the policing deal signed recently between Honiara and Beijing. Solomon Islands Prime Minister Manasseh Sugavare visited Beijing this week to deepen bilateral ties with Chinese allies. The visit resulted in the signing of 9 agreements, including a controversial police cooperation deal between Honiara and Beijing. The visit, however, triggered concerns among some Western nations. A spokesperson for Australia's Foreign Ministry revealed Canberra's concern about the development possibly inviting further regional contest, while a former U.S. ambassador said he is disturbed by the secrecy around the agreements. To counter China's influence, the U.S. opened its embassy in the Solomon Islands in February this year, while the Biden administration held its first United States Pacific Island Country Summit in September 2022, and pledged $810 million for its allies in the region. The deepening partnership between Solomon Islands and China in recent months has alarmed Western democracies, such as the U.S. and Australia, especially after Sugavare called for a review of its security treaty with Canberra to address the changing security challenges faced by both countries. Reporting from Sydney, this has been Sasha Hassa, SMNI News, Australia.
Meanwhile, the United Kingdom's Defense Secretary Ben Wallace made a suggestion saying that Ukrainian officials should show gratitude for weapons donated to them. Jane Cognita for the rest of this report.
UK Defense Secretary Ben Wallace suggested that Ukraine should adopt a less demanding tone when it comes to speaking to other countries that are providing them weapons to fight against Russia. Wallace suggested that Ukraine should show more gratitude for Western support and stop treating allies and to stop treating them like the online delivery service Amazon. Wallace's remarks, quoted by the media, was made during an event on the Vilnius NATO summit sidelines on Wednesday. Wallace is known to be a vocal supporter of Ukraine. However, he said that it would help Ukraine's cause if they displayed more gratitude. According to the UK Defense Minister, and quote, "Sometimes you are asking countries to give up their own stocks. Sometimes you have to persuade lawmakers on Capitol Hill in America. You have to persuade doubting politicians in other countries that it is worth it." End of quote. Wallace said he heard complaints from American counterparts that Kyiv was treating their country like the Amazon store despite providing billions of dollars worth of military assistance. Wallace confirmed that this was indeed true and that he had been personally subjected to such treatment by Kyiv officials. He then recalled driving 11 hours to meet with a delegation in June, but only to be given a list of requests. It can be noted that U.S. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan made a similar comment in Lithuania, saying that, quote, "The American people do deserve a degree of gratitude from the U.S. government for their willingness to step up and aid Ukraine, and from the rest of the world as well." Meanwhile, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky changed his tune after reports say that Western leaders told him to cool down. Following Wallace's remarks, Zelensky at a press conference said that he has always been thankful to the West for providing weapons, ammo, and all other assistance. In a press conference, Zelensky said, and quotes, "I don't clearly understand the questions. We have always been grateful and always are grateful. I simply don't know how else we should be grateful. We can wake up in the morning and thank the minister. Have him write to me how to be grateful and I will be grateful," end of quote. Zelensky has criticized the U.S. and its allies for not providing enough support or for providing it too slowly. It can be remembered that Zelensky blamed the delays in providing military assistance to them. He earlier said Ukraine had hoped to launch its counteroffensive against Russia much sooner. However, it was delayed due to the lack of Western-supplied weapons and allowed Russia to create stronger defenses. The Ukrainian president also criticized NATO leaders for failing to provide a timeline or a roadmap for Ukraine's accession to NATO, as Kyiv still needs to meet some conditions to qualify as a NATO member. To this, Zelensky called it as unprecedented and absurd. Reporting, this has been Jane Conita, SMNI News.